I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach self-government to parents and to children. And one of the key components to having a good self-governing family is family meetings. Many people want to know how to have a productive family meeting. Well, that's what this video is all about. When I was young, my parents tried to have family meetings. They didn't call them family meetings, they called them family councils, which was even more of an official title to the meeting. The problem with these councils is they weren't very much like councils. In fact, they were a lot like lectures and turned into family fights. Our family was always of the opinion that if we did our meeting first and got that out of the way, we would have more fun with a family activity afterward. So we would try to have these meetings and then have like a little spiritual time and a little fun family activity afterward. Well, let me tell you what. Family council turned into family fight, and then family activity hardly ever happened. That's what the downside was to our family meetings when I was young. In fact, I was one of the ones that thwarted the whole family meetings. I had attitude problem, we didn't participate well, and that was because nobody had a good structure for how to make these meetings happen. I've got to hand it to my parents. They were diligent. They kept trying even though they met with opposition at every turn. But if they would have just known a few things for how to make those family meetings more productive, they would have had a lot more success and our family would have been much more united. So in this video, I'm going to talk about unity and how to foster that feeling of unity within the family. I'm also going to be talking about some of the tips that you need to make a productive meeting and a few other things too. It is vital that your family meetings possess a spirit of unity. That's what they're all about. If your family doesn't have this feeling of we're all in this together when they're in a family meeting, then they'll turn into family fight for sure. So what can you do to foster this feeling of unity? Well, number one, the family has to already know who they are as a family and why it's important that they succeed at this business called family communication and problem solving. Also, your family meetings need to be places where you talk about good things, not just bad things that need to be fixed, because that can be a real big downer. In fact, I think that's one of the things that probably happened to our family council meetings that ended up turning into family fights. As soon as we'd start the meeting, Mom would pull out her list of all the things she noticed that needed to be fixed during the week, and then we would just hear a lecture about everything we'd done wrong. And let me tell you what, after about 10 seconds of that, I shut off and I put up a wall and started trying to thwart the family meeting every chance that I could get. So one thing we need to do is make sure that we don't forget these family meetings are about the entire family. Now, in the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, which is on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, we talk about creating a family vision. And a family vision is this plan that a family makes for who they're becoming in the future. This family vision gives us a reason why we care about self-governing ourselves and why we care about having good family communication. So that lays the foundation for then the unity that is existing in the family meeting. Another thing that's vital is you've got to have a structure. If you don't have a structure for how that meeting's going to flow, people get selfish and frustrated and bored, and then soon the unity just leaves. Once the selfishness creeps in, once a person starts caring about how they feel and not about the entire group and being unified together, then the unity goes away. There's one thing that you can't do for a family meeting, and that's you can't force unity. You can't force investment, but everyone being invested actually is one of the critical things in creating a very productive family meeting. If everyone wants to be there, sees this as a good time of the week that makes everything better for the family, then the meeting turns out to be quicker, more streamlined, People accomplish more, they hear each other out, they listen more intently, sometimes they laugh and have fun. That investment makes everybody loosen up, care, and focus on what's important and get rid of the stuff that's time wasters. So investment is huge. The thing is, you can't force investment, so remember that. So what you have to do as a parent is be totally invested yourself. Not just invested for yourself, but invested for the whole family from the inside of your heart. A vital thing to making sure that you maintain this feeling of no boredom and being invested is that you have a time limit. In our family, we do not allow family meetings to go longer than 20 minutes. Now, there are multiple different parts of the family meeting. Some of them have to do with announcements, some of them have to do with problems that the family is solving, and others that plans that the family is making. That means you can't spend too long of a time on any one of these given areas. And depending on how many people you have in your family, it might be that every person doesn't get a chance to bring up everything in every single meeting, which just makes the next meeting even more exciting if then somebody else gets to go first that time. Anyway, there are a lot of tips about how to structure that 20-minute time block in my Teaching Self-Government Parenting course. But for now, just know, have a time. Have a stop time. This will make everybody feel more comfortable about the meeting. If they never know when it's going to end, they're going to put up walls and cause major problems, and they'll just stop listening, probably at about the 2-minute mark. But if they know it's only going to go for 20 minutes and you're going to stop it right then, they can last for 20 minutes, and they know it. Another thing you want to remember is no arguments. Family meetings are not the place for arguments. So we might disagree on how to handle a problem and have different ideas, but we don't have arguments. In the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, we talk about 4 different skills. They are following instructions, accepting no answers, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. These 4 basic skills take care of all the communication needs that your family has to be self-governing. Disagreeing appropriately is the skill needed for a family meeting so that there aren't arguments. When people have to disagree, they need to disagree appropriately. We have a 7-step process for how to do disagreeing appropriately. Another skill that we need is accepting a no answer, because in these family meetings, if they're really productive, then everybody takes turns voting on issues. Sometimes your idea won't win. And when your idea doesn't win, you have to be able to accept a no answer. There are 4 steps to accepting a no answer. They are: you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and then drop the subject, which means you don't talk about it anymore. When a person learns how to accept no answers, then they can be okay or be pre-taught to be okay when something is going to come out of a vote in the family meeting that they might not agree with. As you can see, I could talk about making a productive family meeting forever. There's so much information that I could share with you, and I do put out new videos every single day, so you're going to probably want to subscribe to this channel. But I'm going to share a few more things with you before we're done with this topic today. So one of those things that we need to keep in mind is family meetings are not just about handling the problems that we have in front of us. Sometimes they're about planning fun things, like what do we want to do for a family activity? Where do we want to go on a family trip? Are you taking some of that time in your family meeting to do things that will truly be unifying for the family? Because what is productivity really? Being productive is actually being unified as a group. Another thing that we consider to be very productive as a family is planning service activities as a family. So we like to do things to serve in our community. That's another thing that can be talked about in a really great family meeting. So don't just spend all your time talking about the negative things that need to be fixed, and make sure your family knows that for some of their topics that they're going to bring up for discussion, they can talk about fun things they want to do, service they want to perform, as well as some of the problems that they see in the family that might need adjusting. Have family meetings regularly. That means plan a deliberate day when you are going to have family meetings and stick to it. Make it a commitment that you have as an entire family. And don't just put one person in charge of calling for those family meetings all the time. Put everybody in charge. Everyone should get a turn to lead the family meeting, not just the parents, even the little ones. Even 2-year-olds can lead the family meeting. They can learn this to say the words required for leading the family meeting, and mom and dad can write down on the family meeting sheet what happened in the meeting and help that child to be the leader during that time. They love it. Give them a little bit of power and they invest. So if everyone gets a chance to be the leader, then everybody also makes a deeper investment. There's one other thing that is really vital to family meetings, and that is the tone that's there, that feeling. The most important part of that tone is the calmness. When a family is calm when they're discussing their problems and discussing solutions to their problems, that feeling of unity is really fostered. In fact, there's such a safety there. And think of the maturity that your children are going to learn and that they're going to gather from being able to handle a problem calmly. So, we need to be working on calmness in all of our day-to-day interactions. So to get some more information on calmness and how to teach the family to really master some of that calmness, you're going to want to watch the next video, which is how to help an angry child calm down.